First of all, let me explain to you what angle I want to speak on this from. The angle I'm going to speak on it from is about the overall education system in the United States of America. That's the angle that I'm going to take here. And we're going to mix in talking about how the Department of Education has something to do with that, because they're the ones who run and operate this educational system that we have here in, excuse me, in America. I'm going to let you know off top, if you didn't know, I talked about this probably a month or so ago. I've talked about it many times, that depending on how long you've been following me. So some of you just heard of me like 3 days ago, and some of you have been following me for over 10 years. But I'm not a fan of the educational system in the United States of America just as a generality. I'm just not a fan. Now, if you just looked at it in black and white, I am a success story of the educational system. I went through all the regular schooling, got a high school diploma, went to college for 4 years. I have a 4-year degree, I have a business degree from Penn State University. And now that I became a professional athlete, I became an entrepreneur, I became this author and all those things I told you about. You would say, if you were just looking at me from the outside looking in without knowing anything, you would say, Dre, you are a quote unquote success story of the educational system. I will say that technically you could say that that's true. At the same time, what I would counter with is that I became a success despite the educational system, not because of the educational system. And the reason why is because my mother is an educator. So I had a cheat code, and that I had a teacher at home. I have one sister. She became a college professor, so she became part of the educational system. And my mom's an educator, so she's part of the educational system. So I just luckily just had let's say a cheat code that most other people did not have. And I credit what I became much more to my upbringing and having two parents at home than I do to what happened in school, because my mother was way on top of whatever was going on in school and what I was doing or not doing, much more than I credit the teachers and the systems and books, et cetera, et cetera. So with that out the way, now that you understand that frame, let's get into the topic. And we're talking about the Department of Education. First of all, let's get some positives about the Department of Education. There are several. I want to tell you some positive things about the educational system in the United States of America. Positive number one, you learn how to follow rules and how to follow a system. You learn how to operate within a system, which is important because most of you, I would guess most of you who are listening to this, have either had in the past or you have right now some form of employment. And when you have employment, you have to follow the rules of the employer. Whoever's in charge, you got to follow the rules, because this is what school is designed to do. Thank you, Gabrielle, for that rose. And thank you, everybody who's sending the gifts over on TikTok while I'm talking. I don't always see you, but I do acknowledge you. Thank you. So the educational system in America, for those who don't know, it was originally designed to help fuel, thank you, Miss NJ Love 54.